Up next is a great friend of mine, and he made history in 2006 when he was just 22 years old. That's my basketball number. He became the first African-American elected official in the entire nation. Like our honoree Van Jones, he is a contributor to CNN. He is also an attorney, and he is a leader. Please give it up for my man, Bakari Sellers.
I don't know if you all saw that, but that's what happens when 6'5" meets 7 feet. We actually have a special handshake. You know, it's a privilege to be here tonight. Thank you for welcoming me in your beautiful home. It's an awesome, awesome environment. I'm going to treat you all tonight a lot like Elizabeth Taylor treated all 7 of her husbands. That means I'm not going to keep you long. But I do come here tonight and bring greetings from the big city of Denmark, South Carolina. For me, it's my hometown. It's my city of pride. It's a population of 3,397, where we have 3 stoplights and a blinking light, and so half of your home was my entire hometown. And now I want to be clear, because as much as I love coming to LA, there's something special about growing up in a small southern town. You know, there's a sense of community that you only get when you know everyone in town by their first name. And you all have stories of bouncing balls off the cinder block walls of the Denmark Recreation Center. And there's this sense of responsibility you only get when everyone you see on any given day knows your father's phone number and won't think twice about using it if they see you acting like a knucklehead. And maybe that's why when folks called to city to complain that their water was brown and smelled funny, they believed the officials who told them that it was perfectly safe. And maybe that's why they didn't understand what was going on when the doctor started talking to them about kidney disease caused by the high lead content in their blood. And maybe that's why, after reaching out to Mark Edwards, the Virginia Tech researcher who helped expose the Flint water crisis, they got so angry when the mayor denied Dr. Edwards' request to test the city wells for possible contamination. And now, if you feel like you've heard this story before, you have. From lead contamination in Washington and Flint to the devastation of the New Orleans 9th Ward, time and again, it's communities of color and poverty which bear the brunt of industrial pollution and environmental catastrophe. That's where they put the landfill because the land is cheap. That's where the streets flood because you can't improve infrastructure without a strong tax base. That's where no one complains about the smokestacks because they know the complaints won't be heard because their government just isn't listening. And when there's disaster, when the river breaks its banks or the hurricane cuts a swath of unimaginable destruction, it's the black and brown communities and families living in poor areas left waiting with their hands out and their homes destroyed because Congress can't seem to see them as anything other than a bad investment. You see, that's why I came all the way across country tonight. That's why nights like tonight and programs like UCLA's new Center for Diverse Leadership in Science are critical, because they not only cast a broad net of creativity and focus that energy on creating new, practical, and more importantly, sustainable solutions to some of our most pressing challenges, but it's because they help give a desperately needed voice to our most vulnerable communities and help ensure that they will no longer be ignored. You see, this, Van, is the next important step in helping realize the promise enshrined in our nation's founding documents, that the power of government comes from the consent of the governed, and that all men are created equal. It has been a long and difficult journey, and I know, and we are far from home, and there are times that the challenges before us seems beyond us. I think about the fact that more than 100 million Americans are living in or near poverty right now. More than 31 million of them are children. On average, a woman can expect to make nearly 25% less than her male counterpart. And while blacks and Hispanics combine to make up about 30% of our nation's total population, we represent about 60% of our prison population. Yet now, like never before, men and women not to mention children, are stepping forward and speaking out for a new vision of America that looks not to what it is and asks why, but imagines what we could be and asks why not.